In this video, I'm going to give you my review of the HSU aluminium handlebar mount for GoPro cameras. So this particular mount cost me, I think it was £18 on Amazon. Price may vary depending on the day. So this one is suitable for any GoPro camera from version 3 right up to version 12. This is a model 10 and it fits perfectly. So this particular mount is quite good actually, because the mount itself is centered towards the end rather than the center, so you can actually adjust it downwards and attach your camera so it's pointing more flat towards your handlebars, so it makes it a little bit more discreet in case you just don't want it popping up in the air. Also as well, if you do fall off your bike, with it being down a bit lower, maybe more protected as well. So this mount itself just about fits my handlebars. I don't know whether you can see underneath, but you can see the threads of the screws are only just showing, so it only just fits my handlebar. I will put the link in the description on the width of my actual handlebars, but it just about fits mine, and it locks into place pretty well by hand. It also comes with this little spanner which you can either use on these ones, but you do need to use it on when you actually put your GoPro in place. You need to use this, unless you won't get it tight enough. So ideally you need to carry this around with you in your pocket. And it also rotates, so you can undo the nut on the bottom and you can rotate it, but it has these little teeth. Rather than it being a smooth section, it's got these little teeth. So if your handlebars are slightly angled, you may not get your camera dead center, because you can only move it according to these little teeth. But for me personally, that's not a big problem. So in terms of being mounted, I'll just try and mount it for you now. So again, it's pretty standard. Just remove this. It does have a little plastic washer on the end, so you need to make sure you don't lose that. And again, it's just pull out the little tabs, put your camera in place, and you can then screw it into place. Pretty difficult doing this with one hand. Okay, so I've now mounted the GoPro 10, and like I said before, you can obviously adjust it with this one, but you can also angle it downwards. So if you don't want it sticking up in the air, you can angle it down so far, tighten that up, and then angle the camera up like that. And you can probably see you can get it that far. So it's pretty discreet like that. So that's a good thing about this particular mount, because the mount isn't on the top. You can actually adjust it so it's that far down. And I think that looks good. And it's completely out of the way of the cables on my bike, so there's no issue with the wide lens picking up the cables. So I normally have it like that. So in terms of it staying in place, so these bottom clamps are pretty good, but the top one, even if you try to do it by hand really tight, you can still move the camera. So I think if you are doing extreme mountain biking, it will probably end up coming loose. So that's where the little spanner comes in handy. So you can use the spanner. So you will have to carry this around in your pocket and just put the spanner on and give it a good tight. And you can probably now see that it's nice and firm. So that's the only downside, is that it won't tighten up by hand. You do need to use this little spanner if you want to make sure that the camera stays in place. So yeah, overall, it's a decent little clamp. I think at £18 is a little bit expensive for what is just a little bit of metal, but you know, there's not many other options you can have. So yeah, I've used this a few times already, so I will put some footage online of what it looks like. Like I said, I usually ride it with it down like that, with it angled back up. So that's how I normally have it. You can probably see it like that. So yeah, the only real downside is that you do need to use this spanner to tighten up the nut, unless, like I said, no matter how tight you get it by hand, it still moves around. So you definitely need to use this thing. So overall, a decent clamp. I will put the measurements of my handlebar in the description box, just in case yours are thicker than mine. Like I said, it only just about fits. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I definitely recommend it. Thanks for watching.